Hello, you're most welcome to the A Show, where we have transgenerational conversations for the benefit of the youth as we learn from the elderly, or people who are interested in caring for the elderly. Today, I want to present to you a man. Between the years of 2012 and 2019, if you were in Ghana and was interested in activities of the church, you would definitely know this man I'm about to introduce to you. The immediate past clerk of the General Assembly of the Presbyterian Church of Ghana. His name, Reverend Dr. Samuel Ayete-Nyampong. Papa, you're most welcome onto the show.
Thank you very much. Thank you for inviting me to be part of this show.
Great. On this show, we talk about transgenerational issues that will be relevant across generations. So I come to you and I go back in time. In your work, pastoral care for the aged in Africa, you dedicated the book to your dad and mom.
Yes.
But I realized that your father's name is Papa John Benia Ayete, and your mom is Mama Alice Ajokum Ayete. So where from your name Ayete-Nyampong?
Yes, thank you very much. That's a very interesting question. My father was Papa Ayete,
okay,
and my mom to Alice Ayete. But my father named me after his brother Nyampong.
Okay.
And you know, you always take your father's name as a surname. But wherever I went from secondary school, people were comfortable calling me Nyampong than struggling with Ayete. And I felt that the Ayete was getting lost because I wanted to be identified with my father. My father was a gentleman, God-fearing person, and I didn't want his name to be missing. Rather, his brother's name more pronounced. So I decided that I will make it a compound name so that people will be forced to also mention Ayete, not only Nyampong. So it became Ayete-Nyampong.
Interesting.
Yes.
So clearly we can see that you from the eastern side of Ghana.
Yes, I'm from Latte Ekwapim,
okay,
in the eastern region of Ghana.
So how was it growing up in that side of town?
Yes, you know, Latte is located on the hills, Ekwapim Hills. And
the
so,
ridge they call it.
Yes, Ekwapim Ridge. And it's cooler over there than in Accra.
Okay.
And so when I started school, in fact, I did not start school at Latte. My father was a teacher catechist of the Presbyterian Church of Ghana,
right,
like a lay pastor, and was also a head teacher. So he was being transferred from one town to the other as the head teacher and also in charge of the local Presbyterian congregation. So I was born in Obuasi Mines, in the Ashanti region. And then we were moved to Obogu in Ashanti Achim. And then from Obogu, my father came to Amonokrom in Ekwapim.
Now you were closer home.
Getting closer. You know, in those days, if you were a teacher and you were getting nearer to retirement, you were brought closer home. So from Amonokrom, then he retired and came to settle in Latte. So my first time of coming to Latte was when he was about to retire.
Okay.
And so because of his retirement, I got admission at the Salem, we call Latte Salem, Presbyterian Middle Boarding School, popularly called Latte Salem, where I...
Like the Osu Salem?
Yes, like the Osu Salem, Salem, and then the Breeze Salem, and then Necropon Salem. Yes, so I got the opportunity of studying at the Latte Salem. Went Form 2 to Form 3, and then I passed the common entrance, and then I entered Benkum Secondary School, also at Latte.
For your O level?
For my O level. And then I continued at Apam Secondary School for my sixth form.
In the central region?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So I studied at Apam also.
Wow.
Yes.
Interesting. You mentioned Salem.
Yes.
It's an advantage for us to learn from you. The concept of Salem.
Yes.
As it pertains to the Presbyterian Church. How did it come about? A little education will help us, especially those who are the younger ones.
Yeah, the Salem boarding system was a bit different from the boarding system that we have in our SHS. Because over there, you were sent there to be trained to learn discipline, to take up leadership role in a country or in your society.
I see.
So people who went through Salem in those days were God-fearing, needed to be humble, show respect to the elderly, and then be kind of independent. You should be able to manage your home without any assistance from anyone. So we're taught how to sweep, how to weed, how to clean, and there was always everyday inspection. And if you were found guilty of any offense, you were punished.
Right.
You see, and I think that concept was derived from the missionary, time when the Basel missionaries came here. One thing I've studied and I've found to be true after my frequent visit to Switzerland, to Basel. I was the African coordinator for Mission 21 in Basel, so I used to attend their meetings. There's no standing army in Switzerland. So almost all the males are trained.
Yes. To be warriors.
To be warriors, yes. And the Basel missionaries who came might have also passed through that kind of training and discipline.
Right.
So when they set up schools, they kind of inculcated that kind of discipline and God-fearing and hard work into their training. You see, so in those days, if you attended a Presbyterian school and you apply for a job, at the interview, they found that you are Presbyterian trained.
Yes.
Oh, immediately you have plus. You have advantage. You had advantage over the others.
Right.
Because they expect you to be God-fearing, humble, disciplined, and a hard-working person. So it was a great advantage. Although some seniors used the opportunity to bully the juniors. And so I didn't like Salem so much because of the bullying. But it was to toughen you. Exactly. Process. To toughen you. And so I've learned to be independent, to look up to God, to be humble, to respect people. And that has been part of my life since. Yes.
It's very interesting to observe how the Salem concept merged with you being someone from the Kwapem. The Kwapem are considered to be always humble and all, disciplined and all that. Then in the year 1984, you entered then Trinity College, now Trinity Theological Seminary.
Yes.
Walk me through that process.
Yes, when I was in the sixth form, there's a long story, but when I was in the sixth form, I was hoping to be a medical doctor. So I was studying science at APAM secondary school, even though APAM was noted for arts. Yes, but I was studying science. And one night, as a sixth former, a senior in the dormitory, my bed was in the corner, the
lower or upper?
Upper. One night, it was what we call curfew time. Curfew means that at 9 o'clock you turn off the light. Yes, lights out. The lights went out and I was slipping into sleep. Then suddenly I found the whole room brighten up. Like the light, brighter light than what I'm even experiencing now. So what is happening? Like I opened my eyes and I saw Jesus suspended in the air, in the room.
You saw Jesus?
I saw brightness, light coming from his face. To the point that you can't see his eyes and see his nose and see the brightness, the glory from. So I only said, "Oh Lord, please, I'm a sinner, forgive me. I'm a sinner, forgive me." If you go to Isaiah chapter 6, I think Isaiah also had that encounter where he said, "Lord, forgive me, I live among people who are..." Exactly. the brightness pierces into your heart, exposing all your weakness. And that convinces me that on Judgment Day, God is not going to ask you, what are your sins? Even just mere sight of Him will expose everything hidden in your life.
Interesting.
So I had that encounter, and then after seeing the light, the next phase was that I was at the beach with Him, and He showed me people casting the net and fishing. And then
in reality, or still in the
in that state, that dream or vision, I saw that suddenly we left the dormitory and were at the beach, and we're seeing people, fishing. And then I saw the fish, different type of fishes, big, small, different colors.
Wow.
And then suddenly he vanished, and I opened my eyes, and I was on my bed. And I was wondering, what does that mean? Because I was really determined to become a scientist and a medical doctor. What does this mean? I got the meaning in 1984. I had a strong edge that God was calling me into ministry. Calling me into a ministry of a different type. That's how I saw it. For Christ Himself. Yes, at that time. For Christ Himself to come to my dormitory and show me that He was going to call me to become fishers of men. And I saw the fishes different type, not one type of fish, different. I knew my ministry will affect different groups, even cut across the world.
That's right.
You see, it will expose me to different cultures, different people. So I had that conviction. So when the calling was so strong, I inquired how to enter Trinity to serve the Presbyterian Church, because I was a Presbyterian. Yes. And many people discouraged me. They said, you young man, you want to go to Trinity? Some of us have written the Trinity exam 6 times, 7 times. We don't pass. Do you know anybody up there? We hear, unless you know. I said, I don't need to know anybody.
So the rumors have been known since.
That was the rumors. But later on, I found that to be untrue.
Right.
And I said, I know Jesus, and if He is the one calling me, I'll try. Then I tried the exams. They invited me for interview, and I hear that even that year I taught the interview. So I got the opportunity of coming here to study Trinity Theological Seminary. In those days, it was called Trinity College. And so I entered in 1984. And by 1985, Trinity College and University of Ghana had entered into an agreement to open up their courses for us to start doing degree programs.
Had you moved from the campus to here now?
No, we were here.
At the current
but
location.
According to the agreement, those of us who were selected to do our degree program will pursue some courses on campus. So I did psychology, sociology, and African studies whilst taking my theology here.
Oh, so that explains how you got a joint theology
and psychology. Because till then, all courses were here, diploma in theology. But we were the first batch, including even the Professor Asamoah-Gyedu, the current president of Trinity Theology. So we were the group that were on cycles. The churches provided us with bicycles because we were commuting. You have morning period, you come for a second period here, a third period, you go African studies in the evening. So we're commuting. And then, so my mates who were in the diploma course, they finished, they left, but I had to wait and finish my degree program. Yes, so I stayed on whilst they were on the field.
Then you finished the degree, you had the scholarship to go do your MA, and that turned into a different story altogether.
Yes, after the degree program, I was posted to Adum Ramsey in Kumasi. And so
we'll come to Adum Ramsey, where you discovered your passion for ministry. But I'm interested in how your MA turned out into a PhD.
Okay, so I got a British government share scholarship.
Commonwealth?
No, it's not Commonwealth,
Okay.
but the British government
Okay.
administrative shared scholarship. We call it ODAS, Overseas Development Administrative Shared Scholarship
Okay.
of the British government. Yes, I got that scholarship when, again in Kumasi, but you said we'll talk more about Kumasi.
Yes.
There is a British Council office in Kumasi, Adum.
Yes.
I just walked in looking for a scholarship, and so there were so many forms and schools, but I knew in my heart that the British government will not award scholarship to an Osofo to go and study the Bible. You see, in those days, they were awarding scholarship for people to go and study medicine, veterinary medicine, engineering, to come back to help developing countries.
That's right.
So even though I had prayed and I was convinced I should go there and fill a form, I wasn't too sure it would be successful.
Theology.
So I filled 2 forms, one for Edinburgh, one for Aberdeen.
Okay.
And to my surprise, within 6 months, I got the British government scholarship to go and study Masters in Theology
Wow.
in Aberdeen University. And I couldn't believe it. I said,
Scotland.
maybe it's a mistake. Somebody's left to go and do engineering. They have mixed it.
Yeah.
So if that is the case, then let me wait for the second, because I applied to 2 schools. If the second one comes, then it's a confirmation.
Right.
Within 2 weeks, the second letter also came. We are pleased to inform you you've been selected to study at Edinburgh.
Okay.
First one was Aberdeen. This one, so I have 2 British government scholarships to the same person to confirm that was God who had
You
opened the
made
way.
a choice.
So I had to choose Aberdeen because most of our professors in those days from Trinity had studied in Aberdeen. Former moderator, Dr. Sam Prempe, studied in Aberdeen. Reverend Professor Dananchi studied in Aberdeen. Former presiding bishop, Dr. Santianchi, studied in Aberdeen. Famous Kwame Diakon of Akrofi Christian studied in Aberdeen. Many of
Was
them.
Professor Dixon one of them?
No, Dixon, I don't know where.
Okay.
And even Dr. Nantoma, who was killed in an accident when he returned from Aberdeen, he also was.
So the list was tall.
So I said, no, I will have to go to Aberdeen because that's a famous school. And it's a famous school built in, I think, 15 something. So when I got to Aberdeen, they had celebrated their 500th anniversary. So it's not like the Gong, which was 1932 or 1940, 500 years already. Yeah, so that's how come I got there. And by the grace of God, my professors felt that I was doing very well, and they encouraged me to move on to the PhD program.
So you enrolled for an MA program?
For the MTH.
MTH?
Yes.
Okay.
That's what sent me there.
Okay.
But while doing the MTH, my professor said, no, you are too good, and we encourage you to move ahead to the PhD.
You left Aberdeen with pastoral gerontology.
Yes, I specialize in pastoral care of the elderly.
Elderly, okay.
And to specialize in pastoral care of the elderly, it means that you are studying aging.
Right.
Aging is the area of gerontology.
Yes.
And so pastoral care of the aging made me a pastoral gerontologist.
Gerontologist.
Yes.
Just for the benefit of those who don't know.
So my PhD was in pastoral gerontology.
I'm not sure there are quite a number of you who have that area of specialty.
No, there are not many. In fact, at the moment, I don't know of anyone who has done the PhD in pastoral care of the elderly, specializing in gerontology, aging.
That explains why you are unique in many ways. But I'll take you back to Ramsey.
Yeah, sure.
Ramsey Memorial Presbyterian Church.
Sure.
Where you were an associate minister.
Sure.
And you discovered your unique passion for the elderly.
Yes. Thank you very much. Ramsey, I will always remember Ramsey because Adum Kumasi, because I went as a minister. In those days, I was already ordained before I got there because the degree program I was pursuing here, I had to stay 2 more years whilst my colleagues were on the field. So, when you are commissioned, after 2 years, you are ordained. So I was attached to a congregation in Accra. So after 2 years, I was ordained with my colleagues who were already in the field. And then I had completed my degree program, so I was posted to Adum. And in Adum, I noticed that in those days, there were so many story buildings in Kumasi.
Yes.
They still, a lot of story buildings. And we needed to visit the elderly, the infirm, the sick, and give them communion.
Right.
And as the junior pastor, I was the one going around town, giving communion. And I noticed that most of the elderly who needed communion were not living on the first floor. Sometimes the top floor, they've been come there somewhere, locked up by their family members who have gone to town to work and come in the evening.
Right.
Then they open the door to So it means that once you are there, unless you are being taken to the hospital, you never step down, you see, to walk on the ground. And I found that most of them were kind of abandoned and lonely.
Yeah.
Already being old, you are lonely. It has its own challenge. And being pushed up there in a room, there you are far isolated from society. And I found some of them to be miserable.
Right.
In miserable conditions and depressed, lonely, feeling abandoned by society. Because can you imagine when you were young, always busy, going up and down? Now you sit there and you look down, seeing the cars passing, and it's like the world has forgotten. You've not even existed before. You see, you felt abandoned. And I said, no. Is there something that can be done to bring some life and joy and peace into their lives? And I know in those days too, people were going abroad to specialize in areas that will fetch them quick money.
Yes.
Especially if you are medical personnel.
That's right.
You want to specialize in gynecology, pediatrics, and all those. But there was no one as a trained doctor for the elderly to give them hope that if an elderly person is sick, then there's a clinic, geriatric clinic, where he will go, because an elderly person his system is slightly different, function slightly different from the young person. Even when you are taking medicine, you have a particular dosage, because your system is getting weak.
Right.
But no specialized in terms of the medical field. And among the pastors too, those who had the opportunity to go abroad to study, some studied New Testament, Old Testament, church history, systematic theology. And I said, so are we abandoning these people? Meanwhile, we forget that we are all aging. It's a journey that we'll get there. So why don't we begin to prepare ourselves? So I said, Lord, if you grant me this opportunity to study, I want to focus on elderly people.
Wow.
So prove yourself. I know it's not going to be easy for me to get a scholarship. I had applied to Christian Council on 2 occasions. They said, please, no money. And to the church too, there was a long waiting list. And you have just come from Trinity. You have to wait for 10 years. So I said, God, I'm marching to that office. I know the British, they will not sponsor me to study the Bible, but if you are in control, it will be possible. Wow. And all the two.
So that was a blessing.
It was a blessing, real blessing. And so
it was at Ramsia or your stay in a Kumasi that really gave you
that gave me, and also that was, but the first one was as I observed my own aging parents. My father having worked around now, getting old, and he wakes up in the morning.
Why you dedicated.
Yes, he'll wake up and he'll sit in the sitting room, listening to radio. And I looked at my father, how active he was. Teacher Ayete, yes. Even now, people still know him as Teacher Ayete. And then my mother will also sit by him, sitting no other form of entertainment.
That's right.
No recreational center for them to go and interact. They'll sit, then food time, they'll be giving food. Say, what a miserable life. Am I going to pass through?
That's right.
And then I came to Kumasi and I observed them. I said, no. We need this is not how God made us. God did not make us to enjoy childhood days, pampered and protected, and then when you go past 67, then you are thrown out. Sure. That is not God's plan. Because Jacob lived to old age, Joseph to old age, Abraham to old age, and they were productive, they were fruitful, they left blessings on their generation before they passed. Why would we abandon them? And if we abandon them, on what authority can we go to them and ask for their blessings? When it's like we have cursed them. We've not been involved in their welfare and their well-being. We need to really take good care of them so that they can impart the blessings upon us as they live, for us to be blessed. And I believe that my father left some blessings for you. Yes, and we need to also leave blessings for our generation to come. So I felt called that there should be an area of concern to be able to bring the love of Christ into the life of the aging population. Yes.
Well, if you've been watching us, this is the A Show, and our guest today is a very respected man in not just the Presbyterian Church, but the entire community of Ghana, Christendom, I should say, Reverend Dr. Samuel Ayete-Nyampong. We've been talking about his call into the ministry so far. He's giving us a bit of info into how he started schooling, where he schooled and all that. We'll take a short break. When we are back, we'll delve a bit deeper into his work as a minister in the Presbyterian Church. Stay tuned.